Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Unit Lost. I am Stylosa and this video is sponsored by Discord. Go to discord.gg/Unit Lost, download the Discord client, join the Unit Lost Discord server. We are going to do giveaways on this server. We have loads of community events. It's absolutely beautiful. And of course, guys, this video is sponsored by Discord. We are going to ask the question, what exactly do we need from Blizzcon 2017 to re-inject a bit of much needed reinvigoration into Overwatch? Now, before we get into that, let's go back in time. Let's go back to BlizzCon 2016. Now, during this BlizzCon, we got Sombra. I was lucky enough to stream Sombra directly from the show floor as soon as she was announced. A load of you guys seen that. You know, I made videos on it and all of that stuff. It was awesome. What an experience that was. However, we also got more content as well. What we got was a teaser for Oasis. Now, obviously that's the map Oasis, not the band, ladies and gentlemen, but then you know that because you're Overwatch fans. So we got a teaser for the map. We were told this would come out in a few months' time, and lo and behold, it did. That was awesome. We also got Overwatch League news, which I'll get onto that a little bit later on in the video. And we got possibly, the second biggest thing behind the new hero, which was the arcade. And in some cases, you could argue that actually was the bigger announcement at BlizzCon, because the arcade gave us a new way to play Overwatch. Before, we didn't have that level of sort of custom game mechanics and all of that stuff in the game. Like, this was all announced at BlizzCon, so that was giving us a new way to play the game. So we go forward in time, ladies and gentlemen, and we go to a couple of months ago and we hit the Summer Games 2017 event. This is where alarm bells start to ring in my head, because I don't think there was as much buzz around that event as there was for other events. And the simple reason for that is it is a rehashed event. It was Summer Games 2.0. Yes, it was better than the first Summer Games, but the problem is we knew what the event was going to be. We knew it was the Summer Games. We knew it would contain Lucio Ball. We expected, or rather I hoped, we would have a different way of playing the Summer Games. So yes, we get Lucio Ball, but then we get another game mode. Instead, what we got was actually kind of another game mode, but it was still just Lucio Ball, but it was a competitive version of Lucio Ball. We also got a new arena to play Lucio Ball in, which, well, was exactly the same as the old arena, just had a different sort of like backdrop arena kind of setting. Like, the actual pitch and the arena itself was the same. They just sort of changed what was going on around the arena to include like the Sydney Opera House and stuff like that, and the Sydney Harbour Bridge and things like that. So it was like minimal. Now, obviously there are issues with that, because me, like, you guys know who I am, right? I'm like an ultra hardcore Overwatch player. I play the game loads. I produce loads of video content on the game. So it goes without saying that if my excitement level for that event wasn't that high, then I don't think it's going to be that high for the more casual players, which is what the game depends on. So by a more casual player, I mean somebody who sees the new event, comes back, plays the event, then maybe plays a little bit of quick play, a bit of arcade, a bit of competitive, and then maybe they sort of dry off until the next major event comes around. The problem is, we knew it was Lucio Ball, they would know it's Lucio Ball, so they're like, well, actually, there isn't really that much in this event. Now, I'm sure people did come back to play Lucio Ball and it was great, but I just feel that it wasn't really as impactful as the other events, so it kind of causes issue for concern, really, in a way. So how does all of this tie into what I want to see from BlizzCon 2017? Well, I think there is a list, and obviously we need new heroes in the game. Now, in terms of what heroes we absolutely need a support hero that can heal, because right now we don't really have enough diversity in that, and of course we've got issues with Mercy at the moment, which is, you know, all of that stuff, and Anna's not very playable, and etc, etc. But we need a new support hero, because we haven't got a new support hero since the first hero was introduced into this game. That was Anna after launch. So it would be nice to see something like that, or maybe even like a defense support hybrid or something like that, because I don't think we've seen a new defense hero anyway. So new hero, but I think that's kind of to be expected, right? They could possibly shock us and launch 2 heroes. If they did that, I'd be very I'd be very happy, because it would be nice to have that level of sort of shake-up. Like, suddenly, bang, we've got like maybe Hammond, and then we get Maximilian or something like that. We get these 2 new heroes that just come out of nowhere. Well, they don't come out of nowhere, but they just suddenly show up, and it's like, wow, a double hero launch for Overwatch. I can't believe it. That would be very exciting to see. But then going on from that, we've also got potentially a new way to play the game. Now, this is what interests me. I'm hoping they announce new forms of competitive play. So we should be seeing things like competitive deathmatch. We know they can do this kind of stuff because they've done it with Lucio Ball and other modes of competitive play. Yeah, maybe they start breaking down actual comp into like maybe, I don't know, a full team comp queue, so you need like a 6-man stack. Maybe they start introducing things like guild systems, which I think could be something we do get at this BlizzCon, because we need more social tools in this game. Because one of the reasons competitive is so toxic is you don't know the players you're playing with unless you start getting sort of playing around the same rank all of the time. Then you will kind of notice players, you'll notice their name and think, oh, I remember that guy, and all of that stuff. So you might get to know, oh yeah, this guy's toxic or whatever. But there really is no connection with a community. Like, there's nothing more that I would like than to be able to set up like a Unit Lost Overwatch sort of outfit, guild, you know, watch point, whatever you want to call it, which would just be all of the community was in it, and it breaks you down by your SR, and then you can form teams together and go and play the game. I will always say this, the best time I had playing this game ever was when I played in one of the ESL competitions. These were open competitions where anybody could sign up. It didn't matter what your skill level was, and we had a team that varied from GM level players to platinum players, and it didn't matter, right? It didn't matter. We got together and we played in that competition and we won. I think we got to the quarterfinals. No, I think we got to the semi-finals actually of that competition, and it was so awesome. That to me, like, that just put Overwatch on my gaming sort of landscape forever. Like, when I did that, I was like, this is so awesome. Like, I've not had an experience like this since I, you know, raided in like EverQuest or games like that. It was phenomenal. I was like, this is so awesome. This is the way the game needs to be played. And I feel very sad that not a lot of people have had a chance to experience that. Yes, I get people will get together and play in quick play and stuff like that, but in competitive it's much more difficult. Also as well, competitive, it has all kinds of issues. If you're grouping with like a 6-stack, it puts you against better individual players because there's not really going to be another 6-stack grouping of your same skill level. It'd be very difficult to match those together, so it causes loads of issues, and it makes me feel sad because I think the game needs something like that. So I would like to see some sort of guild system in the game, or some sort of enhanced social features which would allow us to set up groups of players so we get to know each other, and then we can start, you know, playing in tournaments. And even that's another thing, like having integrated tournaments into the game. So StarCraft 2 is a Blizzard game, and that has integrated tournaments. You can sign up for a tournament in the game and play in the tournament. That is so cool. Overwatch, if it had that, it would be a beautiful thing. It would be absolutely beautiful. So yeah, new hero, new ways to play the game. That's to be expected. Now the next thing is maps. Now obviously we'll probably get some sort of map teaser, we might even get a new map. The thing is, they've just released Junkertown, so I doubt they will give us a new map at BlizzCon. What they might do is go, hey, you know, we're working on these maps, and show us a load of concept art, because remember, they kind of try to up themselves every single year. So last year they showed us a bit of concept art and I think some screenshots for Oasis. This year they might show us it for 2 maps, or you know, maybe they'll show us some new features, maybe they've got some new movement mechanics or map mechanics or something like that which is going on, you know, maybe a new bouncy platform somewhere, I don't know. They could show us something like that, so that could be quite cool. New permanent game content. This is the biggie. I'm slapping my hands because this is what we need. We need new, just new stuff that's in the game permanently, because one of the grueling things with the events is when they finish, you no longer have access to the event stuff. Now, I get this is the way Overwatch is monetizing itself, because it is, let's have your cake and eat it. Let's charge full price for the game, but then let's also run full microtransactions that are only cosmetic and don't alter the way the game's played. But the way we're going to tease people into actually buying this stuff is making it all time limited, so they actually have to go out and buy loot boxes if they want to try and get everything. You know, you guys know how this is by now. So that's obviously the reason why after an event finishes, they then, well, lock all the content, and you don't see the content again until, well, the next time the event rolls around. Now, what's good is we do know that they bring back the old event content, because they did that with the Summer Game stuff, and I fully expect the Halloween event, which should be the next event, to come back with all the Junkenstein's Revenge stuff, and then have maybe a little bit of additional content on the side. If it is straight up the same experience as it was last year, it will be very disappointing for that event. Even if they just changed around the heroes that you could use in the mode, if it was still the same like actual arena, it would be quite disappointing. So I'm expecting them to up their game there. But the fact is, we lose all of this content, so it's not permanent. So when you look at Overwatch as a game in terms of what actual content it has in the game right now for you as a new player coming into the game, you are missing out on like 50% of the content. Yes, okay, 50% might be a lot, but what I mean by that is you're missing out on a lot of cosmetics, you're missing out on a lot of event-specific stuff, like, the brawls that you get with the events, and you're just missing out on, like, experience in that event. So you come into the game right now, it's pretty much standard. You've got competitive, you've got all of the arcade stuff, you've got the custom game system, which honestly I don't think is used at all. Every time I've looked at the custom game system, it's very minimal in terms of servers people have set up, and it's kind of disappointing because that could have been something absolutely like insane. I mean, they have changed the way this is displayed. It is now displayed as one of the play cards. It's not actually hidden in the arcade system as it was before. So it kind of does help with visibility. But yeah, anyway, let's go back to let's just recap actually what I've been over, because I don't want to start repeating myself, because I am getting quite emotional here, because as you guys know, Overwatch, it's like such a heavy part of like my life, and yeah, it's interesting to talk about like this. So alright, we've got a new hero. Yeah, I think we'll get that. New map, possibly some sort of new map teaser. New permanent content, I hope we get this. New ways to play the game. Now, again, I hope we kind of get maybe sort of competitive deathmatch and various other ways of playing competitive. The big one I'm hoping for, though, is new community tools. Like, I'm hoping for this sort of fabled guild system. That would be awesome. I'd love to see that, because if that turns around and actually shows up, that would be one hell of a thing to behold, ladies and gentlemen. Now, onto some of my worries, and I think the biggest worry I've got for the just the standard game is Overwatch League, because I know a lot of stuff is going on with Overwatch League, a lot of investment from Blizzard, a lot of shuffling around of staff and all kinds of stuff, which could possibly be resulting in, and actually shuffling around of focus from, let's say, maybe, you know, not as much focused on developing new content for the game, but more focused on maybe making the spectator system more interesting to you know, as a viewer to watch. All of this stuff, it kind of makes me wonder if Blizzard sometimes get a little bit confused. Like, you need to keep this game interesting for everybody. You can't just focus on one end of the game. You can't just be like, oh, this is our Overwatch League, it's going to be awesome, it's the high-end thing. And I know, you know, I totally understand. Overwatch League is going to be something I cannot wait to see. Like, I can't wait to see it. I love watching Overwatch esports, so to me, that's awesome. The problem I've got is, how did Blizzard expose this to just the general audience of the game? A lot of you guys watching this video, you know, you probably don't know much about Overwatch League, and that's not your fault. That's Blizzard's fault, because, well, nothing has really been said about the league. Yes, we are going to get some show matches which will happen towards the end of the year, and then obviously it kicks off. So then we are hoping that Blizzard will do a lot of promotion for just for Overwatch League to get people interested in it. This is what I'm also hoping they do at BlizzCon. I'm hoping that they announce how they're going to integrate this into the game. I think they will possibly show us the special esports items. Now, this is not like confidential information or anything. This is actually part of one of the documents which is available for the Overwatch League kind of involvement thing. And basically what this says is, there will be in-game items which will be, well, it doesn't say there'll be in-game items. What it actually said is there'll be a revenue share of basically like items that are sold. So kind of what it's insinuating is there will be, like, let's say Cloud9 sprays in the game, yeah, and you'll be able to buy them, and a percentage of that money will go to the esports team. So that gives the esports team a bit of money. Also, it gives the casual player, you know, oh, what is this Cloud9 thing? Oh, it's the esports team. It gives them a bit of brand recognition sort of inside the game. And obviously this extends to all of the other you know, teams that will be involved in this as well. So there are things that they are going to do, and I expect them to announce this at BlizzCon, because they did obviously announce Overwatch League last year. It was the big BlizzCon thing, the big hype thing, which, you know, for better or for worse, did kind of cause a lot of issues for the pro scene of the game, because it took so long for Overwatch League to get to the point it's at now, where teams are starting to be put together, that it pretty much killed off the competitive scene. And by competitive, I just mean like the professional level competitive Overwatch, because it was quite an interesting scene. There were a lot of tournaments that were being run, and then suddenly Overwatch League, and then it was like, oh, should we actually run our tournament, because we've got no idea what Overwatch League is doing. But yeah, guys, like, I am kind of going off topic here, but what do you guys think we need from BlizzCon to re-inject some life back into Overwatch? It's obviously a brilliant game. I just feel like it is a little bit stagnating at the moment. It feels like the last event was kind of nowhere near the level of the other events. Yeah, you know, in terms of polish and the way it looked, it was typical Blizzard. It looked great, but there wasn't no sort of like, wow, what is this event? There was no like hype around the event. It was just like, yeah, this is the event, and by the way, you know what it is. So yeah, see you later. You know, we've added a bit to it, but they didn't add enough to it, I don't think, and that kind of makes me worry. That makes me worry that for Junkenstein's Revenge, when that turns up again, is this going to be a case of just a little bit extra content, you know, that's so minimal, it's like, oh, I've played this before, so why would I bother playing it again, kind of thing. I don't know. It makes me worry sometimes, guys, and then other times I think, okay, maybe I'm worrying a bit too much. But let me know about all of this in the comments below. I've been Stylosa, this is Unit Lost, guys. If you enjoyed the video, then like the video, you can subscribe to the channel, and you can follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming, and I will catch you on the next one. Toodaloo.